Oh no, these Giannis's. Giannis, great shoe, by the way. Yeah.
Gerald, can you just take us through the last couple of weeks and update us on, I guess, how you're doing now?
Well, last couple of weeks was a whirlwind. Just having to quarantine, being at home alone, and just trying to get better. A lot of supplements, a lot of antibiotics, a lot of herbal, a lot of tea, a lot of rest. But also a lot of recovery so I can come back fresh.
Was it confusing with the Thursday game and everything? I mean, did you think you had a chance to play, or what kind of?
Well, I was actually ready to play. I was in tune with the game plan, and the coaches did a great job of getting me back up to speed, or keeping me up to speed, and it just came down to if I was cleared or not. So, being a new thing with the vaccine and the pandemic, obviously a lot of stuff that we were still figuring out ourselves. But I think they made a rule saying that players couldn't get cleared game day. And some guys were telling me that's because of me, but I was ready to roll. I wanted to definitely play the Rams, but definitely wanted to be out there with the guys for sure.
What were you thinking when you saw Russ's finger and then saw that Geno had to come in?
I got the utmost confidence in Geno, but unfortunate for Russ. That's our leader. He's been here a long time, won a boatload of games, but Russ will do his thing and he'll be back fast and playing at a high level like he always does. But we all have the most confidence in Geno, as you guys saw. That a couple of those drives from that game where he took the offense down the field and took the team by the horns and just kept doing it.
You had to go through a backup quarterback situation last year when Jared got hurt up here and going to John Wolford and everything. What's that like for a player to make that change and adjust to playing with a backup again on a week's notice and get up to speed with that guy to get ready to play again?
Well, it's really all about the timing, in my opinion. Whether you're running certain routes or running the ball, it's all about just knowing your job and being where you need to be when you need to be there. So regardless if it was John or Jared throwing, I had to be in the spot that I was coached to be at. And in this situation, whether it's Russ or Geno, I have to win my matchup and I have to, be where I'm supposed to be at.
Where'd you watch the Niners and Rams games? Just at the house?
Yeah, I watched it at home. It was kind of weird though, because just going through so many years of being in the league and then just the routines and everything, it kind of definitely puts you in a unpredictable predicament. But it was unorthodox to say the least. And I definitely just had to adapt and try to emulate the team schedule while I was at home and try to get some kind of workout in or, some kind of activity.
How surprised were you when they told you had a positive test?
It was crazy. I mean, I thought I would be the last one in the league to get COVID, but I don't even know where I contracted the virus. I mean, I haven't really been to many places. From when we landed from Minnesota to back to Seattle, it was raining, so it felt like I had a common cold. Just going from different climate changes and being on a plane, and it's just definitely one of those things where you just got to just be in tune with your body and just do everything really that you can.
I guess you guys got back on Sunday night from Minnesota. When did it start to feel like you had a cold?
Well, traveling and doing the hotels and city to city, climate change is definitely a key factor in getting sick and, with illness. But in my case, it was one of those things where it's just coming from Seattle where it really wasn't that chilly to going to Minnesota and then coming back and it was pouring down raining when we got off the plane. So I probably could have did a better job, being better dressed. But hard to say because, I've been in many rainstorms and I didn't get sick. But in this case, just had to be safe, and I started testing positive, I want to say Wednesday. So, I contacted everyone that I was around, my physical therapist, she tested negative. So I really don't know where I contracted the virus, but I started testing negative Wednesday, and then that's when they came and got me out of meetings.
When you're watching the games at the house, what kind of game watch? Are you yelling at the TV? Are you pretty calm?
Well, it kind of comes with some of those emotions playing your old team and knowing a bunch of those guys that are still there. Me being an ultimate competitor, I definitely was frustrated. We were going 3 and out in the first quarter, a couple drives, going back and forth with the Rams. They went 3 and out, we went 3 and out. At that point, I just had to take a break from the game, really, and just, do something else. But, yeah, definitely frustrated. But, no, I wasn't yelling at the TV, just really wishing I was out there with the guys.
Was the common cold feeling, was that all you really got from it? Or?
Yeah, I had a runny nose. I had a little cough. It was nothing too crazy. Some people say that they felt like they were borderline dying, but COVID It was tough. I definitely felt some congestion in my chest and a little bit in my throat, but outside of a common cold and the symptoms that come with that, I really didn't see anything out of the ordinary. So it was really kind of surprising to me that I tested positive, and it was kind of crazy actually because I had a false positive initially, and then I ended up having to test again and then again the same day before they just, deactivated me. So it was really just one of those things where I was kind of stuck in limbo and just trying to understand how everything works with the protocol and when I can come around and when I can and if I'm gonna be cleared to play and, just things of that nature.
Let's an active NFL player do something else during a game? You said you had to go do something else to get away.
Yeah. I just had to get away from the TV, go get some curls or go, get a quick lift in or something just to get your mind away from it. Just, go outside. I did a bunch of things, but I definitely made me a cup of tea, just kind of stress relief a little bit because definitely wanted us to win that game, and I definitely didn't want the Rams to have that one. So I definitely just had to take a step back from the TV for a little bit, came back right in the middle of the second quarter, I believe.
Looking forward to the December game even more now.
Well, each game definitely has similar importance, but being that we lost to the Rams, I'm definitely looking forward to that next matchup, but we definitely got to focus on Pittsburgh this week and get this train back on track.
Is there much different, I guess, stylistically from from Russell to Geno or anything that you've noticed? Or?
No, not yet. They're both capable quarterback, more than capable. But, Russ has obviously been proven over a decade now. So even back when he was in school, he was definitely still playing at an elite level. But along with Geno at West V, they both are great quarterbacks and great competitors. And as we saw last game, Geno is definitely able to get the job done. So, we're just definitely, everybody's getting behind him, and we're just going to rally and try to get this game.
Anything else, guys? Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.